Hello there, everyone. Thanks for jumping in. We're just going to wait a minute or two and then we will kick off just to get everybody settled. So we'll be back in a minute or two. Hey everyone, everybody that's just joining, we're just going to give it another minute and then we will kick things off. Okay, we are ready to go. Let's get things kicked off. Welcome everybody to this webinar, How to Boost Your Employee Experience with Viva Connections and Valo. My name is Daniel Anderson. I'm product manager and Microsoft MVP here at Valo, looking after communications, knowledge, and engagement. And you can see there on the screen, if you would like to get in contact with me, then you can do so on those channels. Very easy to get a hold of. So if you've got any questions after the presentation or after the webinar, then feel free to reach out to me directly as well. So we've got a little bit to cover in this session. So we're just going to get stuck straight into it. I'm going to set a little bit of a scene first, and then we're going to jump into a little bit of information about Viva Connections, and then also take a look at Valo Connect as well. Just a little bit of housekeeping first. We've got Ilya behind the scenes here taking Q&A. So if you do have any questions throughout the webinar, use the Q&A functionality here in Zoom, and we will do our best to answer those questions during the presentation. If we don't have time, we will take those offline and get back to you and answer those questions there. So just once again, if you do have questions, then jump into the Q&A and pop your questions in there. So to get things underway, as we know, as we all realize, we are obviously living at the moment through some unprecedented times and changes throughout society, the economy, and also business. And the way that employees experience work has never been so important. It's really is the cornerstone at the moment of business, and the ability to navigate the disruption and the transformation and this economic uncertainty is really, really important and is a key. Now, there's a little bit of research that's been done from Deloitte that shows, and it's an interesting point that shows that only around about 9% of business leaders believe that they are actually really ready to address this issue that we're facing now, and so much so that we're starting to see now the emergence of not only departments, but entire new roles inside organizations dedicated to this employee experience, or EXP as they like to call it. And what is, I guess, of paramount importance is that we start to understand the relationship between communications, access to knowledge, employee engagement and learning, and that direct relationship that it has on that employee experience. And when we can get this right, we can expect to see a huge increase in not only customer satisfaction, but innovation, and ultimately for businesses, the end result of higher profits. So given the fact that many aren't ready to address these type of issues, now is the time, I guess, to really grasp that and really forge ahead against your competition or your industry. Now, as we can see there, and it was some information that was gathered from Microsoft through their work trend index. Nearly 60% of people are saying that they're feeling less connected to their team or their department or their organization since shifting to this remote work. And it's obviously, even coming out of this pandemic, it's not going to be the same. So we're going to see a lot more hybrid based work. A lot of people are going to be working from home, some in the office, and rotating and that type of thing. So it really is, really are in a position where it's probably never going to be the same again. Now, at the center of all of this is obviously your people. So the driving force behind any business is the people that, or the talent that work at your organization. And we can see there's a few more interesting stats there, and especially in the bottom left there, where 94% of employees say they would probably stay at a company longer if they invested more in their learning and development. And that is really a core part of the employee experience as well. And also the top left there, organizations with a highly engaged employee base have a 21% greater profitability. So you can see why the trend now, or people are starting to take this a lot more seriously, is around this employee experience. There's so many benefits from having a good platform or a good employee experience. Now, obviously, customer experience has always been the center of attention, and has always been an area of investment for organizations. Now, increasingly, as I said before, there's a really big change and a big shift happening now, where employee engagement is becoming paramount to the success, not only of engaged employees, but the overall business as well. And designing a powerful employee experience isn't just a box to tick for, let's say, human resources departments. It can have a significant impact on many aspects of organizations. And leaders are obviously now starting to recognize that. And it's why close to around about 80% of executives rate this employee experience as very, very important, but yet we're not that ready to actually launch into that. Now, what actually is an employee experience platform, or EXP? Now, again, this has come out of Microsoft, and it's a high level explanation of what EXP is. All right. So it's a system of experiences that help organizations create a thriving culture with engaged employees and inspiring leaders. Now, as you can see in that diagram there, the employee is the center, at the center of everything, and everything is wrapped around the employee. So we've got communications, resources, insights, knowledge, communities, well-being, growth and development are all key aspects of an employee experience platform, but the employee is always at the center there. Now, we understand, and we kind of see 6 key elements of a great and developing a great user experience. And again, the employee at the center, empowerment, growth, purpose, feeling focused, connection with the rest of the company, not just her little team, but the entire organization. And also what is really important is also the well-being of employees. Now, this has led to Microsoft making some really big investments in this space. And you may have seen, and you may have seen in the press and online around this thing called Microsoft Viva, where the tagline is empowering people and teams to be their best. Now, Viva is a combination of a number of different modules, I'll call them, that tackle different aspects of the employee experience. We've got Viva Connections, which we're going to focus a lot on today, which is all around the culture and communications. We've got Viva Insights for productivity and well-being. We've got Viva Topics for knowledge and expertise. And we've also got Viva Learning, which is all around skilling and growth. Now, Viva Connections specifically here, as I said, it focuses on the communications and culture aspect. Now, there's three main areas here that we're going to tackle. Keeping everyone connected. All right, as we saw before, people are starting to feel less connected by the current state or the working environment that they're in. So this is a way where people can stay connected, not just with individuals, but the entire company as a whole. And it really does allow people to contribute, to foster culture and inclusion, and empower every employee to have their ideas and share that feedback. And it really does help from an organizational point of view to bring everybody together with a shared vision, strategy, and also around strategic priorities. As I said, empowering people and teams to be their best is kind of a tagline for Viva Connections, and it really does focus on these four key aspects. And the different modules of Microsoft Viva tackles or focuses on an individual one of these. Now, the one we're going to focus a lot on today, and we're just going to jump into a demo now, is Viva Connections. All right, so I'm just going to now jump into an example of what Viva Connections is today, and we can take a look at the experience that we get. So we can see here that I'm in Microsoft Teams. All right, so we're familiar with Teams. We've got an app bar on the left. But what's interesting here is Viva Connections, and what I've called here, it's called the landing. So this is our company portal, our company SharePoint site that's part of Office 365. We bring in that experience inside of Teams. So it really does bring things into the flow of work. We don't have to switch context, and it's in the place where people are actually doing their work. So we can see we've got the global navigation, we've got the news, we've got some different web parts that have been added to the page, some global ties, some links, some more news, some curated news, audience targeted, that type of thing. So I'm seeing the most relevant information to me and my role at this company. Now, again, when I click on this icon on the left, you'll see that we've got a navigation that flies out. So we've got a global navigation, we've got sites I follow, and we've got the news that's being aggregated into this navigation bar here. So I can easily navigate my way around. All right, so what we need to understand here is what's being brought into Microsoft Teams and Viva Connections is the tenant's home site. So it's a single site that's been marked as a home site, and that comes into Microsoft Teams. We can't add any other site into that ecosystem. So it's only that single home site that gets brought into Viva Connections into Microsoft Teams. Now, the other things, obviously, that we can do through Viva Connections here, and again, we're focusing a lot on not needing to switch context. All right, so we really want to stay in the flow of work, so we don't have to jump around too much. So you can see here when I click on a news article inside the landing here, I'm taken to that page. I can like it and comment it and consume the content that's on this page. So it really is a great starting point for an organization. And for a user to be able to stay connected to what's happening across an organization as well. We get targeted information. We've got our global navigation. So we might have corporate documents or policies and procedures, or even a dashboard of links to most frequently accessed information. And it can also all be audience targeted. So if I'm a member of a HR team or an IT team, whoever's responsible for publishing that information can actually target that. So when I log in, I'm only seeing the relevant information to me. So again, it makes it a nice personal experience. Now, In addition to now, I guess with Viva Connections, that's basically a high level of what it is, right? So we're bringing in the SharePoint home site and we're allowing our employees or our talent to be able to access that information without having to jump out to SharePoint or out to another tab. All right. And at the moment, it's desktop only. I'm in the browser here, but inside of Microsoft Teams, the desktop client, we get the same experience. We can push that out as an app as well. And it's only a single app. So we can't have multiple applications. And this is a single app for the entire organization to be able to consume. Although the information here is targeted or can be targeted at people, and I'm only seeing that information that's relevant to me, it is just that one single app. Now, I'm just going to jump out of Viva Connections now, and we're now going to take a look at what we call at Valo Connect. All right, so this is what we're really positioning as we don't compete against Viva Connections. What we are actually doing is we're completing that Viva story. Right, so we're extending, we're adding some more functionality and capabilities to Microsoft Teams and to that whole Viva Connection story. Now, a little bit about the vision of Valo Connect. Now, delivering a personal a personal employee experience is obviously at the center of a good employee experience platform. And what we're doing with Valo Connect is really driving communication, business collaboration, and co-innovation again inside of Microsoft Teams. So that a user doesn't have to switch context and can continue with the flow of their work. As we know, a lot of people are starting their work day in Teams. So why not bring that into Teams, into their natural flow of work? Now we can see here that there's a couple of differences here between Viva Connections and Valo Connect. And I'll draw your attention to the table down the bottom there. You can see that Viva Connections, and I mentioned it before, that we can have one home site and it's only one app per tenant. It's a generic look and feel. It's centrally governed. And it really is, as you saw there, really heavily focused on communications inside of Microsoft Teams. Now, with Valo Connect, what we're doing by completing this story is that we're allowing you to have any number of SharePoint sites brought into Microsoft Teams. But a really powerful aspect here is the ability to have multiple personal applications. So that bar on the left-hand side there is what we call a personal app. We had the landing on there. We can have multiple apps as part of Valo Connect. We've got app level branding and it's personally adopted as well, and also allows us to bring in not only just that communications from our intranet or our portal, but the business collaboration side of things as well. Now, a brand new feature and functionality of Valo Connect that this week got launched as of this recording is Connect Me. Now, it really adds a personal experience to a personal app in Teams. So what this allows us to do, and again, we'll have a look at this in just a minute, is it allows employees to select the most important information streams into a single experience inside of Teams. And at a single glance, we can stay informed about what's coming up in our day, what's my next meeting, how many meetings have I got today, my latest conversations, my news, even my most recent documents that I've accessed, so that I can get back to working nice and quickly and easily. We'll also see here there's quite a few differences in Viva Connections as opposed to Valo Connect. All right. As I said, we're completing this story for Viva Connections by introducing a number of additional features and functionality to this example. The next thing that I'll mention here is around the navigation. So we'll see here that Viva Connections is Microsoft Teams desktop only. It's a single hub site and it's defined in SharePoint. So it's limited to that SharePoint targeting capabilities. And also the global navigation is the only app bar, or the SharePoint app bar is the only navigation experience that can be customized. And again, it's one navigation experience per tenant. All right. With Valo Connect as a personal app in Teams, we can see that we've got multiple personal applications, and we can actually have custom tab-based navigation as well. And also with the addition of being able to really extend an individual team as well as a personal application. Now, just to show this, that how we are integrating in with Valo, with Viva Connections, I'm going to bring up this screen here. So we saw the landing experience before, which is an out-of-the-box SharePoint site that is utilizing Viva Connections. Now, what we can see here, we're in Teams again, but this time, because my intranet, my Valo intranet here has been marked as the home site of this tenant, I've actually got that experience now of Valo inside of Viva Connections. And you can see I've got this app here. I've got a custom icon. I've also branded it, and I've called it the Hangar, right? So here we can see when I click on it, I've got the same experience as we saw before with Viva Connections out of the box. All right, so I've got some navigation that flies out. I've got the news that's coming in from my hub as well. But in addition, what we've got here is a global navigation structure that is not defined just by SharePoint. It's a custom built global navigation that works inside of Viva Connections. And I can navigate my way around through my intranet. I can even, if I've got permission, create and author content throughout here too. So you can see the little Valo toolbox in the bottom right-hand corner. If I've got appropriate permissions, and if I'm a content author, I can actually jump in here and create my content directly from within Viva Connections here. All right. So a really, again, focusing on staying in context inside of Microsoft Teams and in the flow of my work. So I don't even have to leave Teams. I can be communicating with my project team and then quickly flick to the Hangar here and then consume all of the company information. And what's really powerful here is I can even bring in this people directory directly inside of Teams, where I can say, I need to find somebody across my organization. I don't really know the person I'm looking for, but let's say I know they're in the executive management team. So let's select executive management. I've now got 2 people, and I can contact them directly from within Microsoft Teams. I can click, I can start a new chat with them, or I can give them a call if I need to, and I want to give them a call as well. All right. So not only are we completing that Viva Connection story, we're actually bringing the Valo intranet inside of Viva Connections. Now, moving on now to Valo Connect. So we've just had a look at Viva Connections and the capabilities that Viva Connections offers right now. You can deploy that to your tenant, and you can mark any site as a home site. We saw the Valo intranet there as a home site that actually brought that experience into Viva Connections. Now, let's take a look now at Valo Connect and what we've got there. So Valo Connect is, as I said, a personal application, and I'm just going to bring this screen up one more time. And not only have we got Viva Connections here, we've actually got this new and additional personal app here, which you can see it's called Valo Connect. It's got its own icon, but it's fully flexible and capable. So you can name that yourself. You can have your own logo. It can have its own brand. When I click on Valo Connect here, you'll see that what is presented to me here is the first tab called Connect Me. And it's all widgets on the page, and it's all personal to me. So you can see here, it's giving me a welcome through this greeting widget here. It tells me when my next event is and when it's starting. All right. So if I'm starting my day inside Teams, the first thing I might want to look at is how long I've got before my next meeting. So I can quickly get that information without having to open up Outlook and my calendar and that type of thing. I've got that directly there for me. You can see Alex still uses his email. He's got 30 unread emails, and he's got another 3 events today. This little widget here is my events. So we can see there, I can see a quick little snapshot of my day. I'm also consuming the company news here as well through the My News widget. You can see I've got 3 items there, and this is an aggregation of what's being published across the company intranet. Doesn't matter what site, it's all being aggregated into here. We've got a My Colleagues widget here. I can see who I work with. All right. I can even send start an instant message chat inside of Teams. So if I want to quickly contact Megan, I can click the icon. I can start a new little one-to-one chat with Megan there as well. Because we're in Teams, let's make use of that functionality. Let's start a chat. We can also make a phone call or send an email to her straight away. We can see here that also a big part of an employee onboarding experience is the completion of a user's profile. And we can see here that Alex's profile is only 75% complete. So one of the tasks or the onboarding tasks that may be assigned to Alex on his first day, for example, is for him to complete his profile. So we've got a widget for that user on their dashboard, on their Connect Me experience, so that they can jump in there. They'll open up Teams, they'll open up Connect, and they'll have that there right in front of them. We've got the functionality here also to be able to have my own personal links. So you can see here I've got company links, and this is a central place and centrally governed for an organization that can make available and publish links for everybody to access. But if I want to add a link myself, and it's just for me, I can pick an icon here. Now, what we might do is have a look at some icons. Let's do a search. We might just add a link here to Google, and we will save that. Now, what's happening there is it's adding that link. Because I'm still in this experience, I can click that. It'll open up Google for me. You can see I can delete and edit, and I can add additional ones if I need to. You'll also see here a My Documents widget. So this is pulling up the recent documents that I might have been working on. So if I was working on the parts spec yesterday, I can open up this morning and there's the document ready for me to continue on with working. You can see I can take multiple actions on this too. I can get a link, I can edit it directly in Teams, open it in the Word application on my desktop or in the browser. I can also download it. And you'll also see in this right-hand side here that I've got my conversations. So this is the latest conversations that I've been involved in inside of Teams. Now, that's just for this in this example. You can see here that as a user, I can edit this page now, and I can also have some configuration options available to me. You can see that I can add a widget. So you can see that I've got multiple different widgets that I can add to the page, and I can actually configure these or some of them myself. Because as an admin, I can also determine what users can control and what configurations they can't control. So for example, if I jump into events, you can see that I've got no configuration options here because an administrator's specified settings for this particular widget globally that can't be changed. But if I now come down and have a look at, let's say, My Colleagues, I can configure this widget. I can say poll every 600 seconds or whatever the case may be. I can determine how many people get shown, but I can also pin colleagues. So I know that I contact Nesta all the time, so I'm going to pin him to the top of my list. I'm going to save that, and you can see there that now Nesta is front and center. Every time I open up Valo Connect and Connect Me, Nesta will be there front and center for me. All right. So not only can a user configure their own widgets, but as an administrator, we can actually control some settings and lock some widgets. We can even block some widgets and make sure that those there are certain widgets that you may not want to allow users to add or to change. For example, that My Events web part there. Okay. Now, in addition to Connect Me, what you can see in Valo Connect is a tabbed interface. Okay, so we can see that I've got a number of different tabs in a navigation style. You can see that I've got the intranet that's coming back into Teams. Although I've got Viva Connections here, a configured Viva Connections app, I can also bring in my intranet if I want to. If I haven't got connections, then I can add my intranet into here. Now, as an author, what's really, I guess, painful at times is to get to the content that you have published. So you might be publishing lots of pages, lots of news articles, maybe even jobs or internal positions or things like that. What we can do here is not only bring in the intranet content and SharePoint content, but some really business orientated and other, I'll call them line of business applications. This could be one of those, and it's an editor dashboard. And you can see here that I can search, I can filter, I can find any content that I have published across the intranet in this case, and I can quickly and easily get back to that and take action on it. So for example, I can say, show me everything that I've published in the HR site. And there's the page, there's a job for the junior marketing assistant that I can go and edit and update. So a nice, easy central place for us to do that. In addition to that, you can see that I've got a couple of different search experiences. So finding the right and relevant information quickly and easily is really, really important. There's a lot of wasted time across companies, across individuals when they're trying to find the right information nice and quickly. But you can see here, again, inside of Teams, I can bring that experience in. All right. So I can have this enterprise search experience and say, right, I know I'm looking for something from HR. So I'll start with HR, and it might be that user guide that I'm looking for. So I can start to search. I don't have to think about where that is. I could just jump into this document hub. I can start my search. I can do some refining, and all of a sudden I've found the document without having to click around in multiple different places. It's there front and center for me. The same thing with the people directory. Now, obviously, the people are the center of an organization, and being able to connect with those people quickly and easily is a very important aspect of any employee experience platform. So we can see here, I might be looking for Alex. I know the person's name. I can search for Alex by first name, surname. If he's got skills that have been set in the user profile, I can search for skills. And I can also say, right, I don't really know who I'm looking for, but I know I'm looking for somebody from marketing. So I can select marketing, and there's Alex and Megan front and center for me. I can start a conversation. I can give them a call or send them an email. Further to that document search that we saw before, policies and procedures is I guess, a custom search experience. Very, very common across organizations. And here you can see that we've got a dedicated tab here that's been set up just for policies and procedures, similar to that document hub search we saw before. Now, in addition to all of these search experiences or SharePoint or pages, we can also then start to think about our other line of business applications. So here we're looking at a Power App to be able to book a room. All right. So again, in context, in the flow of work, I'm in Teams. I can now book a meeting and book a meeting room directly from within Teams. Makes it nice and easy for us. We don't have to jump out to another browser, another tab. Remember where to go. It's all contained inside of this application. Another personal experience, just as an example here, is I can access all of my employee documents. So it might be signed contracts, NDAs, any leave request forms or anything like that. We can also now bring that in. All right. So again, the experience for an employee is really, really streamlined, and we don't have to go and try and find this type of information. Where it gets even better is that we can now also bring in this business related data. So this business collaboration, or in this case, a sales performance dashboard, Power BI dashboard that all of our sales team need and access. Because I'm part of the sales team, this is a tab for me. I've got access to all of this live information. I can interact with this and do what I need to do and analyze this data on a daily basis. It might be a thing that I do every single morning. Again, learning we spoke about before. Here is an example. I'm bringing in my learning experience or my learning that's been, it might have been assigned to me or it might have been recommended to me. I might be a new starter. So this might be the content that I need to complete as part of a task or part of my onboarding task on the first day or the first week. In this case, it's all about Microsoft Teams. I've got all the training material that I need to get up to speed with. So as we can see, we've got the ability here inside of Valo Connect to have multiple sources of information brought into the one application with its own navigation inside of Teams. Now, the beauty about this is you can see in the top right-hand corner, and I'll jump back to the intranet here, but I've got a lot of options for me to configure. As if I've got the appropriate permissions here, I can manage these tabs. So the tabs that we just saw across the top, let's say I don't want to bring in that global navigation or the footer, or I don't want that toolbox in the bottom right-hand corner. You can see here that I've got this, this tab called My Intranet, and I can pick an icon if I want to, and I've got a stack of icons I can choose. Let's just choose this one. We'll change the icon, but we'll also see here, we've got a number of different page options. So I can say, right, I don't really want, all I want is an experience. I just want that home page inside of Teams. I don't want the global nav. So I'm going to turn that off. I don't want the footer and I don't want the toolbox. Now, these are all Valo intranet page elements, but you'll also see here that you can hide the SharePoint modern page elements too. So hide the hub site nav, hide the site nav, the page title area, the footer, the social bar, and we can control or show and hide that as well. So when I save that, what's going to happen is that tab's going to reload. And now what should happen now is that global navigation will disappear. All right. So we've got the ability there to be able to hide that information and hide those page elements also. Let me just refresh this page. And we're now going to take a look at extending where we can now add Valo Connect to individual teams. So we've seen it as a personal app, but let's say that I'm inside of a particular team. All right. Inside of this team, the Mark 8 project team, what I've got added here, we're familiar with the conversations, the files, that type of thing. What you can also see here is a tab called Valo Connect. Now, when you go to extend a channel and you add a new tab, we can see that we've got the option to add Valo Connect. Now, I've already gone ahead and added this tab. And on first load of this tab, I've got some pre-configured tabs here. And again, this is an admin setting and an admin configuration that can control what tabs are first launched when Valo Connect is added to a particular team. So we've got a scoped news search, we've got a scoped team search. And if you think about when a team is being used, we've got multiple different channels. Every channel has got a files tab. So with what we're doing here is this is scoped for the entire team. So I don't have to go to every single channel, every single files tab to find the document. I can just come into this search experience just for this team. We can see that we're also added a tab for the company document hub. So again, not having to change context, I can access all of my company documents here. And I've also got a different search experience on this tab and also a dedicated one for company news. So not only can we bring that experience through into a personal app, we can actually bring that now into an individual team, a channel, and then extend it with adding Connect as a tab. Okay. And just to reiterate that we can have multiple different personal applications. So as an example, we might have another personal app here in the app rail that is targeted at the HR team. A team's admin can push that out via a policy, and the HR team has got their own personal app there with its own tools in a central location. Now, heading back into the presentation now, I'm just going to go through quickly here some additional Valo only features that, again, complement this whole Viva Connections story inside of Teams. So these are features that don't have an equivalent out of the box. There's a number of different products here that I'll highlight too from a Valo perspective. We've spoken about Intranet Connect and how that plays in with and extends and complements Viva Connections. We've got Teamwork, Extranet, Entrance, and also Valo Ideas. Now we saw here the extension that we could add in a Teams channel as a Teams tab, and we can deploy Connect as a tab inside of Teams. And we can build that experience targeted at a particular team. We've got the concept of approved tabs. So we can add pre-approved tabs starting with SharePoint pages or even individual and target different web parts that are an instance of a web part on a particular page. And we can set if a tab should be default or when that is being added to a Teams channel. So we can have a set of predefined and default tabs there. And we can also identify with different icons that we saw there before. The tabs configuration we've walked through. We can see the different page options and the different configuration options that we can add to those configured pages. And obviously, it goes without saying that it integrates in with all the other products that we have, in addition to Viva Connections as well. So we've got the intranet. We can display that. We can bring that into Microsoft Teams through Valo Connect or even Viva Connections that we saw before. We can bring in enterprise search. We've got the people directory. We've also got the teamwork and entrance integration as well, in addition to all of those other experiences there. And we can also bring in Valo ideas. Okay, so as we can see, Viva Connections really does provide a really good starting point for creating an employee experience that enhances that culture inside of your organization. But we can also complement that Viva Connection story by adding even more value and more features and functionality that really does build on that employee experience platform that you get with not only the Viva platform as in combination with the other modules, but in particular, Viva Connections, we can also start to now extend that story and really complete that story right from the outset. So I just wanted to take this opportunity to thank everybody for joining in live. If you're watching this recording, I hope that brought you some value. Now, if you would like to get in contact with me, there's a number of different options or ways that you can directly contact me. Or if you'd like a demo of Valo Connect, Viva Connections, and how we are completing that story with Connect Me and Valo Connect, then reach out. We've got a booking form on the website, or you can reach out to me directly and I'll be more than happy to assist there. Now, during the session, as we said at the start, if you had any questions, to post them in through the Q&A. Now, if you do have any questions now's the time to jump in, ask any questions, and we can answer those if we've got enough time. We can answer those now, and I'll just open up the Q&A now and see what's been happening. Ilya has been very, very busy behind the scenes. I can see he's answered quite a few here. And let's just take a look here. So what does Daniel mean? It's only home site. Okay, so there's a question here. I might have said the wrong thing here. What does Daniel mean with that? It is only the home site that can be viewed in Viva Connections. You can't connect any communication site to the home site via hub functionality. No, that's right. So it is the home site. So you configure the home site in a tenant, and that home site is the first experience that you see. You can navigate to other sites, but the home site is what's seen first. And we've got a question around, does Valo have capabilities of creating forms and workflows for the forms? Well, as we are part of the Office 365 ecosystem, as Ilya has pointed out there are a number of different ways that you can create forms inside of 365 that then integrate in with a Valo intranet or Valo Connect as well. Okay, so we've got Microsoft Forms, we've got Microsoft Lists, and you've also got the power of Power Automate. So we can integrate those different aspects into either Viva Connections or Valo Connect or the intranet as well. Plus, we saw the Power App functionality there inside of Valo Connect. So obviously, you've got the ability there to create Power Apps and develop those line of business apps or even forms inside Power Apps and add those too. The recording, yes, the recording will be it will be shared after the recording after we finish this. So you will get a follow-up email with all of this, and it's awesome for my teammates. So that's very, very good. Thank you very much. And I'm just scrolling through here to see if there's any more. Let's have a look. Yeah, interesting one. It's always an interesting conversation. This one's more around Yammer. So, does it have sense to have both Valo and Yammer, or Yammer should go if we choose Valo for our intranet? Well, Yammer can be integrated as part of the intranet to give you that added social layer as well, and the community aspect that Yammer provides. So you can have both, and there's a lot of organizations that do utilize both. So having Valo as the portal, but also you can easily integrate Yammer into that experience. And we also provide Yammer commenting on all of our news as well. So you can use the Yammer engine for commenting on news, as well as bringing that Yammer experience inside as well. Okay. There's a question there about additional functions for Viva Learning, skilling and growth. So Viva Learning isn't globally available yet. We are looking at how we are going to integrate or make use of Viva Learning. So that will be part of the story too, as well as obviously topics and insights as well. So we will be completing that story too. So the product teams are currently looking at how the best way to approach that story is too. All right. Okay. If there are no more questions, I'll give everybody another 20 seconds or so to just post in any more questions that you might have. Again, feel free to reach me on any of those channels if you want to find out more about, whether it's Viva Connections or how we're completing that story, or even a demo of Valo Connect and Connect Me, or the intranet inside of Viva Connections. Be more than happy to answer those questions, jump on a Teams call or whatever the case may be. We'll be more than happy to do that. So once again, thank you everybody for joining live. Thanks for those questions. Hope that did bring you some value, and I hope that really does open your eyes to what is possible when we're starting to think about this or starting to implement this employee experience for your organization. So once again, thanks for jumping in. Thanks for joining, and see you later.